Hello everyone, it's Mrs Edwards here. It's Monday the 1st of February and it's time for reading skills. So, brand new text because it is a brand new week. So let's share the text because it's Monday. And our text this week is called The Swan's Gift. Anton was a farmer who lived with his wife Rubina and their 7 children at the edge of the forest. He worked hard and they were happy for many years. Then one spring, the rains didn't fall and Anton's wheat died in the fields. As winter came on, their food supply grew smaller and smaller. Soon, Anton's shoulders were stooped with worry. Rubina's plump apple cheeks withered. The children no longer sang or laughed or danced, for they were all too hungry. Every day, Anton went out to hunt for food and returned without firing a shot. And every day Rubina added water to the onion soup until there was nothing in the pot but water. When Anton saw his family crying with hunger, he wanted to cry too. But instead, he took his gun and went out again into the cold, cold night. He had to find something for them to eat, a bird or a rabbit. But the black branches were empty of birds and no rabbit crouched in the frozen shrub. The only tracks Anton saw were his own. He came to a small hill and knew it was the last one he would be able to climb before his strength was gone. His feet were numb and his breath rasped in the freezing air. At the top of the rise, he stopped to rest, scanning the snow for tracks. In despair, Anton turned to go. Just then, he saw below him a lake that was not yet frozen over. Its edge was lacy with ice, and at its centre floated a swan of such dazzling beauty that Anton could not look away. Its stark white feathers gleamed against the dark water, and as Anton watched, the swan seemed to grow larger until its image filled his eyes. Suddenly, juices flowed into Anton's mouth. He could taste the succulent roast swan and see his children's faces glowing as his family sat at the table eating again. He raised his gun and sighted down the long barrel. Anton put his finger on the trigger. The swan seemed to be looking at him, listening for the shot that would kill it. He lowered his gun. The swan was the most beautiful creature that Anton had ever seen, and as he watched, the swan fanned its magnificent wings. Anton closed his eyes and thought of his family. Again he raised his gun. Hours seemed to pass. The feathers on the swan's breast moved gently with each beat of its heart, and Anton could feel his own heart beating. He lifted his heavy, wet feet, walked a few steps, then dropped to his knees. "I can't do it," he said. "Why not?" asked a voice as soft as snow or feathers ruffling through a gentle wind. "I cannot kill Beauty. If I kill this swan, my family will have food for 1 or 2 meals, and then what? We will be hungry again. It will have been for nothing." Anton was too tired to be surprised that he was speaking to the swan, or the wind, or the night. He was too tired to walk back home. He bowed his head with sadness for his family. With a cry, the swan lifted its wings, rose from the lake, and circled Anton, water dropping from its wing feathers. As the water hit the snow, it froze into crystals that sparkled in the moonlight. Anton reached out and touched one. It was hard, harder than ice, and it did not melt in the warmth of his hand. "Diamond," Anton said. Quickly, he scooped up the diamonds that lay in a glittering circle around him. He filled his pockets with them, and he set off through the snow to a nearby village. Anton was no longer tired. He no longer felt the cold. He woke up the innkeeper and called, "I need food." "Your crop's failed," said the innkeeper. "Everyone knows you have no money." "I have a diamond," said Anton. "Where would the likes of you get a diamond?" the man scoffed. "Let me in and I will explain." The innkeeper fed Anton cold venison and sweet dumplings while Anton told his story, and the innkeeper's wife packed a sledge for him with roast chickens and cheeses and onions and turnips. Then they sent Anton on his way so that they could begin looking for the magic swan themselves. Rubina met him at the door. "Did you find any food? Misha has fainted." "No, but look what I've bought." Anton showed her the sledge. "But how did you get it?" she asked. For answer, he spilled the diamonds onto the table. "Oh," cried Rubina, "you've turned to robbery." "No," said Anton, and he told her all about the swan and how it had circled him with the diamonds falling from its wings. Anton and Rubina woke the children, even though it was the middle of the night, and they all sat at the table eating slowly, savouring the flavour of the food and the wonderful feeling in their stomachs. Rubina's black eyes sparkled as she filled her children's bowls. Anton felt his strength returning. Several of the children hummed as they were put to bed. Anton and Rubina and their children were never hungry again, for they used their diamonds wisely and well. News of the magic swan spread throughout the land, and many people searched for it, but the swan was never found. Sometimes, when Anton was alone in the forest, the image of the swan rose before him. He saw again the gleam of its feathers and the coral glow of its beak, and the magnificent reach of its wings as it glided silently across the sky. Okay, so that's our story for this week, and just like last week, we're just going to have a little chat about sequencing the story events. So, at the beginning of the story, Anton and his family were starving. Well, they were indeed, but why were they starving? They were starving because their crops had failed, hadn't they? Okay. Oh, hello. That's not spelled out, Mrs. Edwards. There we go. So, okay, their crops had failed, hadn't they? So, Anton went out to hunt, didn't he? Okay. And when he was out hunting, he couldn't find anything and he was ready to give in, wasn't he? So Anton was ready to give in. Suddenly, he saw a swan on a lake that hadn't frozen. Okay, and he decided, didn't he? He said, "I'm going to shoot this swan, I'm going to take it home and I'm going to feed my family." He aimed to shoot the swan. On realising how beautiful the swan was, he couldn't kill it. And he dropped to his knees, didn't he? And the swan flew all around. Him. He heard the swan's voice as it dropped. What did it drop? It dropped diamonds, didn't it? Around him. Anton took the diamonds to the Anton and his family ate well and were never hungry again. Anton and his family ate well and were never hungry again because they used the diamonds wisely. Sometimes Anton still saw the magic swan in the sky. There we go. So that is our story. That's what happened in our story today. So children at home, if you want to now go away and have a go at sequencing the story yourself, tell me all about the key points in the story. So this is our text that we are going to be using all week, my lovelies, and it is a very nice text, I think you'll agree. So I will speak to you tomorrow for reading skills tomorrow. Okay, take care, bye bye.